At Proof, we seem to be in multiple journeys. Whenever we delve into a topic or an idea, we end up in a sort of rabbit hole around it. The filled croissant is one such rabbit hole that actually dates all the way back about a year and a half ago and starts with, we called it the scruffin, but a trademarked name is the croffin. It's like a muffin looking shape that's made on laminated dough, and it's always filled with something. We brought them to the menu in 2023, and they were a big hit. I mean, we couldn't ever make enough of them. People raided our bakery for a filled laminated dough, a filled croissant. But the shape of the croffin was actually not great for us as a bakery. The shape yielded kind of inconsistent results and a lot of waste in unusable dough that didn't quite go the way that it was supposed to. Maybe we didn't try long enough to perfect the shape, but we paused production on the croffin in 2023, realizing that we were taking away something that customers loved. And we spent the better part of the last year trying to figure out how can we do the croffin in a way that makes sense for our brand and for what we make on a daily basis, minimizes waste. And we landed on the filled croissant. Actually, it's a pretty neat thing. You can take a freshly baked sourdough croissant and allow it to cool down a little bit, only to then inject it with a custom filling that we make from scratch. You can then do something with the top of the pastry as well, whether it be dip it in a glaze, garnish it in some way. Our first one was made last May, and we've been making a different one each month ever since. So since the first one made this summer, I think we're on our fourth or fifth variety of filled croissant. It's a pumpkin cheesecake croissant right now. And actually, this one has been very well received. It's a scratch-made cheesecake, which is then turned into a filling and then piped into a sourdough croissant. And it's garnished. It's got a really nice finish to it that gives it a nice texture, everything else. It's actually ending within the next few days. So Thanksgiving will be the last time that you can really enjoy a pumpkin cheesecake croissant for the time being. But we're also trying to create custom flavors and iterations of the filled croissant that we can bring back over time and that will be loved. And I'm excited to announce that next week on Friday, right after Thanksgiving, as we open our doors back up, people will be able to come to the bakery for the original filled croissant, which is the Crossamisu. It's a whipped mascarpone cream on the inside. It's a sweet mascarpone cream that we pipe on the inside of a sourdough croissant. And then the entire pastry is glazed in a coffee glaze. It's finished with a little bit of chocolate garnish and served in that way. This was such a huge hit when it was on our menu in May. Actually, people went wild for it. And it's going to be around for this entire kind of December season in the bakery. But if you want to be one of the first people to get one, then come to the bakeries next week, Friday, Black Friday weekend. There's actually a lot going on that weekend in general. We, for the last few months, have been getting in the habit of making flour and using that stone flour mill not only to make bread daily, but also share the flour that we use in our bakery with our community. you can already go to any of the proof bakeries and buy yourself a 5-pound bag of heirloom heritage grain flour that we've milled on a traditional stone flour mill. And by the way, you can see the mill date on the flour and how fresh it is, as opposed to perhaps flour that's been sitting on a grocery shelf for 8 or 9 months. Our flour is probably like in that perfect sweet spot of having had a little bit of time after the milling process to settle down enzymatically, but yet still considered to be really freshly milled for you to use at home. And we're making content to go along with that freshly milled flour and help you bake a wide range of things at home. Things as easy as a 2-ingredient cracker, which you can actually check out on our YouTube channel now, up to perhaps like a more complicated sourdough process like we do in the bakery. We're milling grains that allow you to explore a bunch of different flavors and textures, everything from something like buckwheat, which isn't actually related to wheat. It's I think it's actually considered closer to a legume, but this grain is often grown where wheat is grown as a hedge against the wheat crop. And it's fantastic to use in a variety of applications at home. People around the world cherish buckwheat. So you can buy something like that from the proof flour mill, but you can also buy something grown close to home like white Sonora wheat, a local Arizona grain. On Black Friday next week, we are going to be discounting our prototype bags. So over the last few months, we've been making all sorts of improvements to our flour packaging. We've been selecting new bags, new labels, and so we have some of the earlier versions still on the shelf, and we want to actually make space for the newer flour bags that we want around for the holiday season. So if you come in on Black Friday, you can actually get 50% off still freshly milled stone ground heirloom wheat flour in the bakeries. This is one of the busiest times all year at Proof. Actually, we even named it Proof Giving, the days that sort of lead up to Thanksgiving, specifically the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. As new bakers a few years ago, we had no idea what it meant to have a bakery around Thanksgiving. Maybe it has something to do with my immigrant roots and Amanda's. After all, I'm a first-generation American, as is Amanda, and our Thanksgiving tables were often this multicultural blend of foods that you celebrate with in Poland and kind of the American classics around Thanksgiving. I also think that the meaning of Thanksgiving was something that has graduated over time, since it's not a holiday that is celebrated in places like Poland or Lebanon, for that matter. So when we became bakers, we didn't realize that rolls and Thanksgiving went hand in hand and were almost as inseparable as the turkey itself. We are making so many rolls over the next few days. We make a brioche roll, a sourdough brioche roll. You can go back to the earliest years in the garage when we first tried this. We were making like brioche buns at the time, and we tried a slightly smaller form factor. We even served them with Maldon sea salt sprinkled on top, which I still think is a great way to enjoy them with butter. Nowadays, leading into next week, I think we're planning to bake around 6,000 rolls for the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And across our 3 locations, basically everybody is going to be doing some part of the production process, because typically by Wednesday, we are already getting ready for the weekend. And next weekend, or Thanksgiving weekend, will be no exception. We plan to attend all of the farmers markets that we typically attend, with the exception of the downtown Phoenix market. On that day, Small Business Saturday, we'll be attending Phoenix Flea, which is this amazing market in downtown Phoenix, full of artisan vendors, people that are makers in a variety of different disciplines. You find amazing artwork. You find amazing, even locally created clothing. You find home products and crafts and like literally an entire event center full of local makers. There's some food as well. We're amongst the food artisans, and we're bringing our sourdough breads and pastries there, of course, but we're also going to be sharing Harriet, our sourdough starter, out there, as well as a variety of merchandise like these hats and some cool aprons that we have for the bakery. Phoenix Flea is a really fun event that is held in the center of downtown Phoenix, Heritage Park. It's been happening for years now, and something that you want to experience, absolutely. I know well before we were even doing Proof, I had attended a Phoenix Flea event in downtown Phoenix, and we had brought the girls. It was a lot of fun as a family to browse all of the various artisans and makers, see some of the things that they put together, and have an experience downtown on a beautiful day, beautiful part of the year in Phoenix. So we actually do something special for that market. The vendors tend to go a little bit extra, so there's some really interesting displays that exceed kind of the typical farmers market tent setup. And that's the same thing that we're going to be trying to do again this year. We'll be custom building like a storefront in Heritage Park that day. We use a lot of wood, and it's almost like a patio kiosk vibe that we have put together for that day. We expect kind of big crowds, and it's a great opportunity for a lot of new people to discover our brand. So I'll probably be there. My dad will end up helping me set up the entire display in the morning, and it'll be a lot of fun. Actually, kind of skipping ahead all the way to what's a whole week away, Thanksgiving and Small Business Saturday, mostly because as a management team, we're very much in the Thanksgiving mind right now. There's so many moving parts in serving more people the Wednesday before Thanksgiving than we serve on a Saturday across actually 7 locations. So Saturday mornings we're at markets, and we do 4 farmers markets plus our 3 bakeries, 7 different points of sale that we're running simultaneously. On Wednesday, believe it or not, before Thanksgiving, we'll end up baking for more people at a higher volume out of just the 3 bakeries than we bake when we bake for a Saturday for 7 locations, including some of the busiest farmers markets, I think, anywhere around. I mean, Uptown Farmers Market, the Old Town Scottsdale Farmers Market, and the Gilbert Market are all just crazy this time of year, with thousands of people visiting every weekend. So it's Thanksgiving, needless to say, is on our minds and what we're working on. But leading into Thanksgiving, we've got a lot going on as well. We actually had the last couple pretzel events at Litchfield Park last week and at Shea the week before. And when we were here at Shea, my friend from Germany, Satkaram, he was actually here with me making pretzels. And it's pretty special to have him visit again. Actually, this is his second visit to the bakery, and it's kind of a part of greater effort that we have at Proof of collaborating with bakers around the world. So recently we were visited by a Western Colorado artisan bakery called Mountain Oven, who uses the same New American stone flour mill that we use. And they were giving us all kinds of milling tips because they're like a decade deep into stone flour milling and have learned a lot of things. We're taking some of that insight now and integrating it into our bakery. Meanwhile, we were sharing with them some of the things that we're doing with sourdough pastry, with bread at scale in general, and as they were planning to keep building onto their Western Colorado bakery. Well, then I got visited by my German baker friend for a few weeks, and while we're together, we were dabbling with Neapolitan Naples-style pizza at home, of course. We actually picked up one of those pizza ovens and did make like a proof sourdough crust and then a bunch of beautiful pizzas. It's got us thinking about the future and maybe being able to share pizza dough with our community one day. Before we say, hey, this is the pizza dough that you should use to make pizza at home for yourself, we're practicing at our own homes, but we're using flour that we already have at Proof and intentionally making a pizza dough. So that was a fun part of his visit to collaborate on that. Satkaram actually has been working at pizzerias for a little while now. When I met him at Portugal, yes, he had his own bakery there, but his bakery was housed within a pizzeria called Sourdough. So he was actually making the pizza dough for that pizzeria daily, meaning this is something he's an expert in. And so over the last couple of weeks, we've had some awesome pizza parties, and I can't wait to keep developing that concept forward. So yeah, it's nice to have the collaboration, the exchange between Proof and bakers around the world. In fact, that's happening more and more. Right now, working for Proof are a couple people that have been following us for years and actually intentionally moved to our area to join our team and add to our talent and serve this local Phoenix community. Hopefully some of the best possible bread that is out there to begin with. I know like the amount of effort that we're putting into everything that we make daily is staggering to be a part of. Wherever I go in Proof, I'm watching people work with careful coordination and intention on everything that they're doing. And nothing's really changed since the beginning. Proof was founded upon Amanda and I in a garage, just doing what it took, but then finding support from the people that joined us back in those garage days, and also to the most natural people that might offer support, like our families. My dad is here again for the winter, and he's helping us in the background with a bunch of projects that we have going around the bakery. Over the years, he's been instrumental due to his professional contracting background, his ability to build the garage bakeries literally from the ground up for us. We wouldn't be where we are today without support from somebody like that. And he's been coming every winter, making our circumstances better. This year, he's helping us out at the Shea facility, doing some much needed improvements in the back. We're working to expand our warehouse space so that we have more ability to store flour. And then we're going to turn our focus to something really exciting that we've actually been working on. It's hard to believe it. Since 2022, which seems like a lifetime ago, our downtown Phoenix storefront is finally on the verge of opening. It's odd. It will end up being our fourth storefront, but it was supposed to be our second. And it's been perpetually delayed for reasons outside of our control. We are moving into 3rd Avenue and Roosevelt in downtown Phoenix, at the western tip of Roosevelt Row, if you will, in the heart of the city. We're moving into a brand new 7-story solar powered apartment complex with retail on the bottom floor in a densely populated urban area. It's actually the most densely populated zip code in the state of Arizona, with lots and lots of walking traffic each and every day. It's really an amazing opportunity for Proof because the storefronts are extraordinarily small. They're considered micro storefronts. In fact, we're taking on 600 square feet with more than half of it dedicated to customer seating. So our actually service area is not much bigger than a farmer's market stall. But as a result of that, we can afford to operate as a business in really one of the most central locations in the entire city, serving a really amazing urban Phoenix population that we've been a part of for over 7 years. Actually, the second market that we ever attended after the Gilbert Farmers Market was the downtown Phoenix Farmers Market. Used to be called the Phoenix Public Market, and now it's the downtown Phoenix Farmers Market. Well, that was actually my market. I spent nearly every Saturday morning in downtown Phoenix for the first years that we were in business, connecting with the downtown Phoenix community. And many of these people are still visiting our Proof downtown Phoenix Farmers Market stand faithfully every single Saturday morning for their family bread. Well, now we'll have a storefront within a mile of that location that people can visit 7 days a week for freshly baked product. We won't have ovens there, but our Shea Bakery is only a 15-minute drive. We'll be baking fresh every single day for that store and delivering up to twice a day. We've been itching for this advancement in our organization for years. And the building itself, it's been a big project for the developers. Actually, it started pre-pandemic, and the problem sort of started from there. Of course, construction prices have changed since then, and the Phoenix metro area has been a hotbed of construction efforts ever since. So this building has ran into many, many snags at this point. A similar building has gone up in downtown Mesa by the same property developers, starting later, finishing way sooner by like a year. But they had already learned a lot of lessons in downtown Phoenix. And so we've had to remain patient. We also made some bets back in 2022, expecting that this storefront would be there and would be open in 2022, 2023, certainly by this point in 2024. We got into a little bit of rough waters financially because of the delays, mostly because we had taken on some investment, and we expected that this downtown Phoenix store would be a big part of the repayment. Well, we thought that that would be the case because this store will be small and it won't require too many people to operate, and it'll be a lot less expensive for us to open up there than it is to manage an entire bakery like we have at Shea or Mesa, which requires dozens of people all the time working. So now the building finally has gotten its certificate of occupancy, and that means that we can start developing our small suite. It also means that it won't take us very long because it's, after all, just 300 square feet of kind of back of house space and 300 square feet of customer area. If there was no bureaucratic process between now and open. We could probably be open next week, but the problem is that we have to, get all the permits and inspections and all of that with the health department and the city in order to open our doors. It's coming though, and I think, Dad and I are working on the background on building seating and building, the customer counter, anything that we can do to bring the expense of the build out down from working with the contractors. Once the store is open in probably the early part of next year, we'll have a fourth location to manage every day. And so back at the main bakeries right now, we are in this ongoing process of alignment. It's really kind of the difficult work of building a bakery, I would say. When there was a smaller number of us working in a garage, we could more easily organize, change our minds, move in a different direction, focus on a particular thing. Our entire team was contained in one room, and it was relatively small. Now we're working with 40 different people across the business, actually probably closer to 50. And there's a lot of different personalities, a lot of different walks of life, different buildings to manage. And yet we're trying to teach the same foundational skill of being a community artisan baker. So as we think about serving 4 locations around the valley and even beyond in the future, we are readying our production capabilities. We're investing deeply into Shea and Mesa to more optimize those spaces. Right now, a lot of work is going on at Shea. We're expanding the warehouse. We're investing in the flour mill. We're actually we just recently acquired new mixing equipment so that our mixing room could handle more of a workload and be ready for a new storefront location to come online. Later this winter, we're actually going to swap the pastry oven at Shea for the same pastry oven that we have in our Mesa bakery. And the mini rack pastry oven that we have at Shea will move to Litchfield, also enhancing their baking capabilities. So all of our locations are growing more capable in order to add a storefront location to our fold. And it's not just the infrastructure, it's also the people themselves. We're working to develop multiple levels of leadership now in our organization, from store managers, bakery managers who basically execute on the constant improvement of an individual bakery. There's a lot to that work. There's writing the schedules for the entire team that works there while understanding each and every person's individual needs as a team member of Proof, to organizing the workflows in a way that you can stay efficient. As a bakery, we battle constantly the reality that we work with razor thin margins. Actually, just as a whole, that's been an area of examination for us over the last year. It's strange to even discuss this because I think people come into our business and see, oh, they charge more for their breads than at the grocery store. That must mean that they also make more money. And oddly, the opposite is the truth. We charge what we need to in order to pay staff wages that will keep them working for us and keep them advancing as bakers, growing their skills. And at the end, we end up with razor thin margins. If we're not careful, we can destroy every little bit of margin that we have just by having too many staff members working too inefficiently at a bakery. After all, our staff is our greatest investment. They give us the opportunity to do what we do, but also quite literally. The payroll each week is a monumental milestone to meet. Grateful for all the customers that support us each and every week, because they allow for us to be able to build a more and more stable team. We are hiring at both the Shea Bakery right now and our Mesa Bakery. I think we even have a position at Litchfield right now. We're looking for people that are quite versatile, and that's not typical for working in an artisan bakery. We're after building bakers, and what we mean by building bakers is people that genuinely connect with the product that we make, from the mixing stage all the way through the sales process. You don't have to know it all, be an expert in all the different dynamics to be on our team, but we look for people that want to connect fully to what we do. So we're hoping for candidates that will work with customers, but will be eager to learn how to operate an oven at the same shift. Weekends are must at Proof. I can't say that enough. I know it's not a very popular thing, but our manager at Shea says it best, that we work when others play in kind of the food industry. We see more people on Saturday mornings than I think like much of the rest of the week combined. And we absolutely need applicants who can make space to work on the weekends, understanding that we have thought through the idea of work-life balance in our bakeries. Actually, our team enjoys 4-day work weeks and 3 days off each week to rest and recover and prepare for the next week. We have pretty good wages to start, great growth opportunity, especially in your first year. It's pretty easy to hurdle 2 to 3 levels, each of which comes with a pay bump as you learn and grow into the team around you. And if that weren't enough, our customer community is so generous that you can bet that your paycheck is significantly higher as a result of the tips that we pull each week for our bakery staff. So we offer full-time benefits as well for full-time staff. You can enjoy medical, dental, and vision that's really like best in class, I would say, affordable, and of course subsidized by Amanda and I. We pay for half of the premium for our employees, and the rest comes out of paychecks. But we have partnered with some of the best external partners that we could find for the size company that we have, so that the benefits package at Proof is like as good as you'd find working for a big company. So I'm pretty happy about that, and something that you can enjoy if you apply to work here. Additionally, working at Proof comes now with paid time off. So after 6 months of work, you, as an entry-level staff member, get 20 hours of paid time off. And after 12 months of work, you get a full 40 hours of paid time off. Now, that is unheard of for entry-level food service jobs in most places around here, at least. You don't enter the food industry for paid time off, but we think that it's really important to strike a good balance between work and the rest of our lives. And we've paid a lot of dues already through our garage era days, where we worked all-nighters, and once in a while, like around the holidays, like this time of year, for instance, hours can be really long. And sometimes like we keep baking for more and more people. And so there are seasons where hours get long before we rebalance with new shifts or new hires or whatever it is that we need to do. That's kind of what we're doing right now at both Shea and Mesa. We're looking for customer-facing, retail bakers that do want to learn what it is to be an artisan sourdough bakery, a community bakery. They do want to connect with customers. They do understand that weekends will be required, but they're in for some of the other perks that we can, in fact, offer, like 3 days off per week and benefits, as well as even paid time off. So you can actually go to our website to apply on the careers page of our website, and look forward to hopefully meeting you soon. This time of year is also sort of interesting in the background. Last year, we ordered the equivalent of 40 acres of wheat grown by a local farmer. So we ordered Rouge de Bordeaux, which is a heirloom, originally Bordeaux region of France origin wheat that you can date all the way back to the 1600s, Bordeaux, again, France. And that wheat is now a part of every country sourdough that we make. We're milling it by the sack in large quantities, and we're making a Rouge Bordeaux flour. We're doing a lot with that particular grain, as well as some others. This is something that we have to revisit annually. So about a year ago, I placed our first order for 40 acres of Rouge de Bordeaux. And this year, I actually upped our order to 60 acres of wheat. And we'll be planting 2 varieties, more Rouge de Bordeaux and now Queen Creek Hard Red Spring. So it's a hard red spring variety that has grown really well in this area. Hard Red Spring is a staple wheat. It's more modern, without a doubt, but it's often the wheat that you find in North American flours. Super strong, mixes together very quickly, and has a versatile set of applications. So I'm adding that to our local repertoire as a great grain that I think will be able to allow us to look into milling even base bread flours that we can use in our baking. So I just put in that order for 60 acres, and it's always a little bit crazy to take a bet like that. Like, we're committing to buying 60 acres of wheat in 2025, but we live kind of in an unstable world. I think back to early 2020 and what happened with the pandemic eruption. We're saying to this local farmer, hey, you can plant this entire field and we will commit to buying it, so long as it meets, a certain quality standard as a grain. And there's a reason that we upped our order to 60 acres, even though we might not even use the whole 40 acres by the time this 60 acres is available to us this upcoming summer. And that's that, yes, we're going to have a downtown Phoenix storefront opening, but we're also working on something even bigger. As with a lot of great opportunities, the timing was something I just had to live with. Maybe it's even a year premature, but it's an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. We have had a love affair with the Agritopia area in Gilbert since Proof began. Actually, one of the first memories I have as Proof's owner was delivering bread to Fire and Brimstone, a pizzeria in that area, Higley and Ray in Gilbert, and the Uprooted Kitchen, a plant-based eatery that we served bread to for years until we stopped our wholesale baking program. Well, we also attended a farmer's market in Agritopia on Wednesday nights. In fact, the original pre-Thanksgiving rush is all connected to that corner, Higley and Ray in Gilbert. There was this amazing development called Epicenter that went into that corner, the northeast corner. And actually, we've kind of been less involved in the neighborhood ever since that development opened up. We opened our downtown Mesa bakery and started to put a lot of attention on what we were doing in Mesa. And we had to pull back from some of the midweek events like the Agritopia Farmers Market. We pulled back from wholesale baking. We pulled back from our home delivery program, all of which were serving that corner of the valley. We have a lot of customers there. And I remember wraparound lines that wrapped around buildings around Thanksgiving and other holidays on that corner. Well, we didn't get into Epicenter. We had to make a choice, downtown Mesa or Epicenter, when it finished. And frankly, we couldn't afford Epicenter. It was 4 times the price of our downtown Mesa real estate. And we didn't have a commercial bakery to make the base of our production in. It was unwise to spend the kind of money that it took to be on that corner for a production bakery. But a bakehouse is a different story. And I'm pleased to announce that in 2026, Proof is going to be opening a bakehouse at Higley and Ray in Gilbert, one of our favorite corners of the valley, on the last new construction that's going into that area. It's this beautiful, I think 300 plus unit apartment mini city with luxury retail on the bottom 2 floors. So beautiful, tall, open space. We have this corner unit that is directly across the street from that Epicenter project that we had to pass by, and across the street from our favorite Agritopia area where we've been attending events since our beginnings. So that's been on my mind as well, because it's a project that's in some ways larger in scope than anything that we've worked on to date. The bakehouse will have ovens and freshly baked product every single day. Our Shea Bakery will be mixing and shaping doughs. We'll be delivering them in the standard sourdough way, meaning in a refrigerated method for the overnight cold fermentation process. And our Gilbert Bakehouse will bake them off fresh every single morning, meaning customers will walk into the door to freshly baked bread and pastries that just came out of the oven. It's going to be our largest customer footprint that we have, roughly twice the customer footprint that we have at our Shea Bakery right now. So the inside's going to have more seating than we've ever had before. And it's certainly it's just a different class of lease where a lot more work is going into planning and orchestrating the build out of this space. So we expect that when it opens, it's going to be a busy location. And that means that there's already work to do to prepare for that a year and 3 months out from when we expect to open the doors. We're beefing up our Shea production capabilities, our downtown Mesa production capabilities, beefing up our infrastructure so that we can serve this long awaited area in town that we've really been wanting to be a part of. We think that that's actually going to give us a really amazing foundation of retail spaces across the valley that we can grow into, really lay some roots down and enjoy for many years to come. We don't expect to just blanket the valley with Proof locations on every corner. Actually, our goal is to keep leaning into what we do, meaning being a better version of ourselves with every single season. This year, we did that by starting to manage a new type of sourdough starter, a rye sourdough starter. We're now every day making long fermented rye sourdoughs, which are completely different than the wheat sourdoughs that we've been known for years, but are a big part of sourdough tradition. This year, we also did that by contract growing with a local farmer our own wheat, milling it, and starting to incorporate that wheat into everything that we make. So even 7 years in and at larger scale, we're finding new ways to lean in and make better bread that connects with more of our community. If we can't do that, then it's not worth growing anymore. Meaning there's diminishing returns in kind of our greater objectives, and that's to find the right balance between quality and expertise and craft, as well as accessibility to our community. I'm not saying that we'll never build another proof location in the future, but I am saying that once we have the downtown Phoenix location in Gilbert live, we're probably going to take a pause for a moment and really refine what we have, grow into it, and prepare, save, consider what might come next based on the growth of our team and the people that work with us. So that's just an exciting thing that's happening in the background as well. There's so much going on at Proof. Being a small business owner, along with my wife, raising two girls, having this community bakery, it certainly keeps us busy all the time. It's interesting. We recently met with our a newer accounting firm that's working with us, and they looked at our financials from last year, which was a year that we invested heavily into Shea. And they're like, wow, the amount that you guys are doing for what you end up with at the end, what do you really want? Is this what you want to be doing? And I thought about that question. There's definitely a lot of difficult moments in what we do, but these days I'm surrounded by passionate people that love being a part of it, regardless of where I go. I can be with customers who tell me stories about Proof being the only bread that they can eat. That happens on the regular. I also meet people from all around the world that come and visit because they've been watching us online and have been inspired to do something in their own way, kind of along the same types of value sets that we've brought to the table with Proof. That's also incredibly rewarding. I can go behind the counter and find people that want to be working for us rather than whatever other alternative they'd have instead, which oftentimes means leaving like a desk job that wasn't fulfilling or leaving a different vocation that didn't seem like it was the right fit. The thing about making bread is that it's super tangible. It's something that everybody who is around the world can sort of relate to in some way. And you can go back in history and have 13,000 years of human connection with bread. So I think we are able to attract a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life that find enjoyment learning how to operate the ovens and bake off fresh bread, or work on the fine details of pastry, bringing to life kind of this artisanal way of making pastry in a sourdough method to this modern set of times where you can't find sourdough croissants usually. So I will go into Mesa and find people that are fascinated by the exposure that they have to this beautiful line of product. If I go to the mill, I find people that are happily learning how to mill grains or mix bread or shape bread each day. So even though our responsibilities as a small business are vast and the challenges are immense, I mean, truly the amount that we've built from the garage is a lot to think about and digest. We have a lot of responsibilities, from long-term liabilities that we owe to investors and, our local bank, to the weekly demand on payroll, and of course the oversight of the production of bread for serving a community that's growing each year. We're baking for around 5,000 people every single week and producing something like 50,000 servings of food each week as a relatively small team of people. it's a staggering amount of work for what in the end is a very humble return. But if you only look at the P&L statement, you see, a humble financial return. But what's not accounted for is all the joy of seeing the impact of our work in many daily moments throughout the week, from the customers that walk in to the staff members that are growing alongside us and developing amazing skills along the way. So I think it's something that's a lot of fun to be a part of. And it's a very exciting time at Proof. Very thankful for what we have. I want to talk a little bit about twice baked croissants. This has been a bit of a dramatic thing around Proof during the last few weeks. We made a tough decision to stop making them daily. It's probably one of the most unpopular decisions that as a bakery we have made. And it's one that will hold for the foreseeable future, but maybe not forever. I want to offer a bit of an explanation and invite participation in having twice baked croissants when we can make them. So let me talk a little bit about why we killed the twice baked croissant. What is it in the first place, a twice baked croissant? Well, it's a sourdough croissant that has been cut in half. It's then dipped into a simple syrup, and this in effect rehydrates it. Any extra syrup is basically wrung out at that point, and the croissant itself is then filled with a house-made frangipan, topped again with frangipan, and then put in the oven to caramelize, where it comes out this crunchy, sweet, gooey, amazing dessert. It's one of our most popular items on the menu. We have an almond twice-baked croissant, which is excellent. We also make a twice-baked chocolate peanut butter croissant, where we make a house-made peanut frangipan and fill a pain au chocolat or chocolate croissant, resulting in both the chocolate and the peanut butter in the final twice-baked pastry. We've even made a special holiday twice-baked croissant. It's a twice-baked maple pecan croissant. The frangipan, as you can imagine, is house-made from pecans, and we make this beautiful maple drizzle. It's really remarkable. People have loved this pastry. Well, amidst making all three of these, we decided to stop making them suddenly altogether. Actually, we were running into some challenges as a bakery that were of great risk to our future. Our pastry capital, our Mesa Bakery, was running deep into overtime each and every week. Actually, the worst offending week in, I believe, within the last few weeks, it was 120 hours of overtime worked. And it wasn't even a holiday week. Well, we had a lot of our senior leaders really dive into the facility and try to find out what was causing all of the overtime. Why were we so overextended? Spending far more than we could afford on payroll each week. In general, just overcommitting to what we could actually do as a business. And we found that each and every day, a lot of labor hours were being devoted to making twice-baked croissants, because it's an additional process that isn't really well scaled within the rest of what we do. We're very well designed to make croissants at scale. We have the right mixers, we have the right rooms that are held warm and humid for the final extended proof. We have the right dough sheeters to make all the 81 layers of dough butter, and the laminated blocks. And we've perfected our rollout methods to where we can efficiently make a lot of croissants with a high degree of consistency and skill. Now, you have to do all of that, bake them, and then turn them into something else for a twice-baked croissant. And they're so popular that what was once a waste mitigation strategy, that is, we took the croissants that didn't sell in a day and turned them into twice-baked croissants for the next day, became a dedicated set of production runs daily in order to feed the demand of twice-baked croissants. And so demand for this product is beyond what is sustainable for us as a company to produce. And thus, what we've done instead is limit twice-baked croissants to a seasonal or occasional special where we can actually use them as they were originally intended. Let's say we overshoot production on a given time. We can then run a subsequent event of twice bakes, or we can intentionally make twice bakes for a limited amount of days in some period of time. So we're actually doing that for Thanksgiving this week. You could have pre-ordered your twice-baked maple pecan croissants. And in fact, we will have them in the bakeries as well, Sunday through Wednesday for sale in very limited quantities live. But hundreds of people ordered twice-baked maple pecan croissants. And you'll be able to do so again for Christmas. So even though we can't make twice-baked croissants on a daily basis at the moment, you can still order them for those special moments that you might have, like your Christmas table or the meals in and around there that you're going to share with your family. You can actually go on our website and place your Christmas pre-order at any time now. They are officially open, and they will be open until roughly 2 weeks before the holiday, when we have to close pre-orders and start preparing for these irregular, huge volume days. So you can get twice-baked croissants in this way going forward. They'll be available for this upcoming holiday. And after Christmas, once again, we'll do a special with twice-baked croissants where we can plan it out. You can order in advance, secure one, and come to the bakery to enjoy it. Maybe one day we'll be able to make twice-baked croissants as a more regular thing again. But we really have to kind of go back to the drawing board and examine how we're doing it. Currently, the sort of mass production way of doing it from one location isn't working well for us. But we're thinking about the idea of just doing it at the end of each day per bakery. Well, we need to sort of build that into our workflows, hire intentionally around that, and make sure that we can operate within really a very fine set of budgets in order to survive as a community bakery. So that's the news on twice-baked croissants. I know that it's not the most popular decision that we've ever made, but it is a very necessary one. And I would suggest that if you love the twice-baked croissant, and that's the main reason you come into our bakeries, that there's a couple other ways in which you might choose to enjoy something similar. Our chocolate chip cookies, just like the frangipan inside the twice-baked croissants, have a similar texture, sweetness profile, all of that. So I would recommend the chocolate chip cookies to anybody that loves the sweet treat of a twice-baked croissant. I would also suggest the filled croissants that we're making. Coming soon is a new monthly special of the filled croissant, the Crossamisu. And for the next few days, you can still enjoy a pumpkin cheesecake filled croissant. Well, those are really nice sweet treats that we're making with intention that will also hopefully satisfy a similar itch. Now, if none of that is sufficient, remember that you can always buy a regular sourdough croissant and make your own twice-baked croissants at home. You can cut them in half. You can dip them into a 1-to-1 cane sugar water syrup. Wring out any extra syrup that is excessive. And then you can make a simple frangipan at home, which only requires a few ingredients blended together. You can basically top to your desire on the inside of the croissant and even on the top, and then place it in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 45 minutes, depending on your individual oven circumstances, until you reach a golden brown, maybe a little bit darker than golden brown final color. Since it's now been baked twice, you want the final pastry to come out with a nice caramelized crunch. Well, that would be kind of, if you can't wait for the proof twice baked events that we will definitely have, that's something that you can do at any time. And don't be afraid to reach out to us if you want more details. Maybe we'll even make a YouTube clip on how to make these at home. I'd like to invite everybody to place their Christmas pre-orders. Holidays around proof are really special. A lot of people come from all over the valley to have a beautiful loaf of bread or a beautiful set of pastries to share on this kind of special meal. We definitely have holiday bakery customers, much like maybe a church might have the Christmas churchgoers and the Easter churchgoers. Around proof, the same is true around holiday tables. It seems that people will drive further, spend more of their time to source a higher quality bread if it is going to be enjoyed around a holiday table versus maybe on the everyday. It means that it's very hard for us to plan how much to make for the crazy amount of people that walk through our doors. We want to make enough for everybody, and thus we offer pre-orders on our website for major holiday events. You can go to our website, proofbread.com, and place your Christmas order now. The way that we operate our pre-orders is a little bit different. They aren't meant to be your very particular, one loaf of sourdough here, one pastry there. Rather, they're meant to secure either special items that are in high demand or kind of bulk items that you definitely want to share with your family. So you can go on our website and get a 6-pack of any of our main croissant products, like the morning buns or the pain au chocolat. You can also get a mascarpone fruit tart, which is a full-on cake-like fruit tart made with pastry cream, fresh fruit, and of course a base of our laminated pastry dough. Well, that will feed like 6 to 8 people, and we don't make it on a daily basis, but we do bring it out for the holidays. You can secure one of those. When you come and pick up those pre-orders around the holidays, it's very easy to also add to your order. You might add an individual pastry or an individual bread that you wanted in addition, but securing your pre-order means that your family is going to be able to enjoy the staples around the holidays. Those pre-orders also include the big centerpiece loaves, which are 2-kilogram loaves that have a beautiful design and truly make a beautiful centerpiece on your tables. And of course, iconic products like the dinner brioche rolls that we pull out for the holidays. This year we'll also be including our brioche cinnamon rolls, which come in 4-packs. We actually reformulated those a little bit this season, given our emphasis on freshly milled flour and some of the techniques that we've added to the bakery. The cinnamon rolls are topped with a beautiful cream cheese frosting, but this year they're actually sweetened with honey instead of sugar. I think they have a beautiful taste profile. Actually, you can taste the sourdough in the sourdough cinnamon roll. but it's mild in nature and balances out the sweetness that's coming from the cream cheese frosting. They're definitely not the same thing as our daily morning bun offering, which has the flakiness of a croissant matched with the kind of cinnamon sugar profile of a cinnamon roll. These are kind of more cake-like and gooey in nature. They're sweeter in nature and really a little bit more on the side of a bread-based pastry, whereas the croissants are airy and flaky and lighter to eat. But if you want those sourdough cinnamon rolls, you can come into the bakeries on the weekends. We're making boxes every single weekend, Friday through Sunday. And you can also pre-order them for the holidays in advance so that you can ensure that they'll be on your holiday table. This year, our Thanksgiving orders went really well. Actually, we sold nearly twice as many overall products in advance for Thanksgiving than the year before, which is staggering to consider. We're buckling our seatbelts and getting everybody involved in the production process in the bakeries leading up to the Thanksgiving holiday, because we expect to serve more customers on that Wednesday before Thanksgiving than we ever have before. And that also means that on Wednesday at the bakery, people will inevitably come in for their Thanksgiving bread thinking that they could just walk in the door, and not realizing that that is one of the highest demand days for proof that exist. They might not be able to get that thing that they wanted, and that's another reason to pre-order ahead of time for the holidays. If that's you, then just go ahead and put it in for Christmas now and make it one less thing that you have to worry about in these holiday seasons. Secure your good bread, because we're doing our best to bake for as many people as are coming in, but there's only a few of us and there's many thousands of you, and it's not easy to have everybody get everything that they want for these extremely busy days. So anyway, if Thanksgiving is any indicator of what Christmas will be like, I would highly recommend getting your order in as soon as possible so that you can have some peace of mind and don't end up having to come into the bakery days before you want to for your Christmas bread. You can come in, the day before the holiday and get the freshest possible bread for your holiday tables. Anyway, that's a little bit about what's going on around the bakery. And looking into the new year, we have a lot of going on. Recently, Amanda and I actually did some project organization, and we had to, well, probably more accurately, I had to confront the fact that I can't do so many things all at the same time. I think even the stuff that I've shared today probably seems overwhelming to conceptualize working on. But we actually identified that we have around 55 projects that we want to pursue. And originally I thought, oh, well, this is stuff that I'm going to be pursuing over the next few months. Coming to terms with the reality that we can't move that fast. And instead we can get further in a more sustainable way when we join forces with the rest of our leadership team and tackle a smaller, more approachable amount of projects at once, say 3 to 4. And so we're taking a hard look internally and really aligning our efforts around really digging into things. Right now, our senior management team is going and spending a lot of deep dives in the bakeries, identifying where the customer experience begins and the production process ends, meaning we're trying to create a clearer line between what happens in production and what happens in the bakehouse, thus enabling leaders to focus really on the customer experience and another leader to focus on the production process of bread. We're acknowledging internally that these two things can be in conflict with one another at times, because customer engagement is all about taking what we make in bulk and connecting it to you. And you have a different relationship and story and history with bread than the next person that is in line at our bakeries, or the person that will visit us tomorrow. So the customer experience is about connecting individually, but the production experience is all about batching things together and working in organized systems to make a high amount of something in order to share it with all of you. So oftentimes the interests of people working purely in production can conflict with the interests of people working purely in the retail customer-facing setting. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that both sides have sufficient leadership. We're trying to organize our workflows more around honoring, are we doing the most to connect with each individual customer in our customer community? But also, are we doing the best that we can to organize our workflows so that our staff can attain good work-life balance and doesn't have to sleep at the bakery because there's that much work to do and not enough organization around it? So we're trying to serve both of those goals going forward. And it's required a lot of deep dives in the bakeries by senior management. We're really digging into the organization of our workflows, how our teams communicate, the type of training resources that they have available to them, and trying to invest in the future so that the people that are joining us today have a better experience becoming community sourdough bakers at Proof than the people that joined us a year ago or 2 years ago. So that's just the ongoing effort that we're pursuing right now as a bakery, really working to just improve all around. And along with that daily work and everything else going on an events level, it's amazing how much we have on our plates and how blessed we are to have gotten to this point. I often walk into a portion of our operations and just kind of roll the tapes back a few years when we were in a garage and what we were doing was real only to us and hard to even really get participation in from the outside. It's a lot to be grateful for. I love being a community sourdough baker. I love serving this community, and I hope that we can continue to do that at Proof for many, many years to come. It's not going to come easy for us in the sense that I think overall businesses are not incentivized to look like us. They're incentivized to squeeze as much profit and do things in the simplest and cheapest way possible. And that's not who we are. We're digging into our craft. We're trying to find ways of doing it better and better with each passing season while also serving a larger community. We care about the people who work for us, and we don't just want them to be production workers on an assembly line that do repetitive, mundane tasks all day. Rather, we want to develop our staff into artisan bakers that take part in this craft and love it as much as we do. So we're going to continue doing our daily work now and serving our community. I've got to get back to the bakery because Thanksgiving is coming, and I think everybody could use my help. It's easiest to score your loaves when they're cold. We eat with our eyes first.
You have to understand your audience enough to be able to say, like, I'm going to be charging a lot of money for my super crazy cool thing, or it's so cool and so creative that only you can do it, and then you don't stand a chance of scaling it.
Let's go over what it's like to build a bakery from one person to many.